talk. Obviously, it's been a few weeks, but we got a lot of information here to discuss. A lot of things going on since our last recording. No question about it. MI Sports Talk. You can follow us online, Facebook, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. But we do have James with us tonight, and Sam and myself, and we're gonna kick it off here with a few things here coming on. I mean, obviously, we're here the day after Thanksgiving, and we just sat through another Lions Thanksgiving defeat to go along with all their other defeats. We'll discuss today probably a little bit about the Lions and their coaching staff and how much longer they want to stay with those guys. They got the Wolverines, obviously, that just came out and got a victory last weekend, and they're going to play tomorrow. Try to get 2 in a row. Spartans are back in action tomorrow, hosting Northwestern, who's in the lead for the East Division. And then, the COVID cases are still alive and affecting a lot of things. So we'll probably discuss that a little bit tonight. And some of the high school sports, Sam and I, obviously, we're going to cover that a little bit too and see where that's at. I'm looking forward. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's good.
Sitting today in food coma, sleeping and all that kind of stuff. But some exciting things, going on, and got to see some family a little bit maybe, and even though we weren't supposed to or locked down here in Michigan, so. But yeah, obviously yesterday the Lions took on the Texans there at Ford Field, and
Sorry.
again the crowd didn't have to go home in defeat because nobody was there. But if you watched it on TV, which was the best place to be, probably, you could turn them off.
Sorry. Yeah. As an outsider to the whole damn game thing, listening to a crowd response to no one in the stadium except for the team itself makes me kind of laugh. Because it's like, okay, well, you can make a crowd sound effect. And I'm thinking, how many years of audio did they capture to make those sounds of the audience or the stadium responses? All right, is now becoming a joke. However, the Lions are a joke.
Dan, what do you think?
I don't know about you guys, but I kind of agree with the comment. I mean, I'm not so sure. I mean, I might enjoy watching the Lions if they were a little bit better, but just sitting there, without the fans or with the cardboard people in the stands, and I kind of, and it's the same way with watching some of the college basketball games over the last few days. Don't you feel like I kind of feel like I'm watching it like on a PlayStation or Xbox, and somebody else is controlling them, and I'm just watching them because that's what it feels like to me. I'm like, it seems like a video game.
That's a good analogy, Sam. That's a good analogy.
So the PS5, it just came out, and
you can't get one
game.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like I sit there and it's just the whole thing seems kind of surreal with nobody in the stands and the fake crowd noise and the cardboard people, and it's just
it's unreal, isn't it?
It's like I'm watching a video game.
It's no different than watching Conan O'Brien with 12 people in the audience, or Jay Leno, whoever. The whole thing is 12 people clapping for him, and the rest is just vacancy.
It's just weird, and but to get back to the game itself, I mean, that was just,
yeah.
What do you say? I mean, we've been around here and watching it for years, and
yeah, I said yesterday when I was watching it, people, I said, you get the realistic that you're watching it because they pipe the sound through the TV, and it's like you're watching, whether or not they move the cameras up to the crowd, during the play or whatever, you realize there's no one there,
They have to.
At home,
because gameplay is actually above the screen line. Yeah. So eventually you see the empty stadium, and it's like
it's just weird.
Yeah. My biggest take on this one, for the Lions' sake, is the ownership has to change now. I'm sorry, the Fords own it. Yes, I get it.
Yeah.
Let it go. We're done. We have 27 coaches since '56.
Yeah. I mean, the common denominator has been they've changed players, they've changed coaches, and nothing has changed. So anything that hasn't changed is what you're saying there, James, is that the ownership has stayed the same, and that seems to be the only common denominator between
Yep.
their ineptitude to advance to a Super Bowl. James and I were just talking about that.
I need this to change. I'm so tired. We had the Billy Sims era in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
And he was probably the best player at the time. We had one good coach for about a year, and then he went away. You know what I'm saying? So we have had no consistency other than the ownership.
Yeah. I mean,
What do you think, Sam?
but the ownership, right? I mean, as long as they're making money and people are,
Right.
gonna keep doling out, money to buy tickets and sit in the stands and buy the paraphernalia, and they make money. I mean,
Yeah.
they could make a heck of a lot more money if they were winning, but I just don't know that they even care so much anymore. I don't know, or that they've cared for a long time.
My cardboard cutout going to cost me $1,000 for a season of losing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
People are doing it, right?
Ticket.
And
You can't.
and they continue to do it, right? They've continued to do it our whole lifetime. People say, I'm done. I'm not going to get season tickets. I'm not going to go down there. But they keep going back. They keep going back. It's like a sickness. It's a sickness.
No,
I always said when they were at the Silverdome, they needed to sell out 70,000 tickets to avoid the blackout so that you couldn't watch it within 50 miles of local area. So you would have to drive up north to watch the Lions. Locally, you couldn't watch them, right? But people they'd somehow sell that thing out every week. But obviously, Barry was there running. Billy was there running. So people went to watch Barry and people went to watch Billy. People went to drink and party all day, getting fights in the stands, all that kind of stuff. So that was a ritual down at the Silverdome. Then they go to Ford Field, and they build it smaller, so they only have so many. They only have 60,000 seats. So now the percentages. So they're on TV anyway. Every week, home or away, right? So that's you can still watch it, but people still go down there. At least people used to go always down there watching and stay because it was tradition. Dad had got the tickets, hand them down to their son, so it was like a family tradition. Just like yesterday's Thanksgiving. How many times do you think the TV channels would love for it to not be Lions than somebody?
Right.
They'd rather have somebody else in that marquee game.
Sure.
Judge Judy. I'd rather watch Judge Judy than that.
Yeah. You watch yesterday. The Lions were 4-5. The Texans are 3-7 or whatever we were, and then Washington and Dallas are both having terrible seasons. So those four teams playing yesterday for Thanksgiving. It'd be interesting to see what the Nielsen ratings are for those games, those two games yesterday.
But people still tuned in, right? Because it's tradition, right? It's
tradition.
It's tradition. You're going to sit there and watch them because there's what else you're going to do, right? Especially with these times where you're not supposed to be getting together with people, so everybody's watching it, right?
Right.
I don't know. It was probably the only game I've watched in the last 3 or 4 weeks because I can't stomach to watch those guys anymore. But
right. Yeah.
I watched them yesterday, but because it was Thanksgiving.
You watch them, James?
I did for the minute because I had to. Well, unfortunately, I would sooner say I watched last week's 20-0.
Oh yeah, the one that lost against Carolina.
Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? Anyway, so between the two, I'm like okay, my father promised me before I died the Lions would go to the Super Bowl. And now we're down to
yeah. That's how I said it.
Switch it up.
You have to stick around for a while.
I used to always say that. I think they'll win. Do you think they'll win a Super Bowl before? I'd say that in my 30s and in my 40s. I think they'll win before I die. And now it's like, all right, come on now. We're starting to, the chances are dwindling for me. Yeah.
I truly think the parking lot effect is better than the actual game. So you just sit down, set up a barbecue, open the beers, sit your trunk, and then leave. That's all that it is.
Well, I mean, but there's that part of it, right? I mean, I honestly, I know we're not talking about college yet, but I've been a Michigan season ticket holder for I don't know, 30 years, 25, whatever, between 25 and 30 years, and I'm going to sit down and watch a game tomorrow. But Pat, I hadn't sit down and watched a Michigan game since the one you and I watched together, the Minnesota game. Unfortunately, right?
Opening season, yeah.
Just sitting down and watching them, and I'm planning to do it tomorrow. But my point is that what I really, even though they're kind of having a frustrating season, what I really, really, really miss is going out to tailgate, because you and I go out there and we see guys that we may not see any other time of the year other than those 6 Saturdays in the fall, and I miss that. So
yeah,
that's one thing. That's one thing for sure. You miss seeing the guys that you hang out. We go into the game, we watch the game, we come back, we discuss it, break it down a little bit, and then you go back to your life for another week until they play again the following Saturday. So it's always a good time. I'd see my brothers, I'd see my 2 brothers at the games. I'd see you, I'd see Tom and all these guys that now it's like I haven't seen them since in a year now. It's over a year, right?
Yeah, right.
I call it football hunting season. It's the
it's our hunting season,
yeah. Football hunting season. It's the effect of not hunting. But I with you guys, it's not easy having these fall and winterish games where you can't be together.
Right.
I miss my friends.
Yeah, and with everything that's going on, it's like everybody say, it's going to end at some point. But man, the feeling is, when the hell is this going to end?
When is it going to? Yeah, and it's a ritual, like you said, the Michigan games, the Michigan State, all these people that have these rituals, whether it's Eastern, Western, Central, Michigan State, Michigan, Lions, high school rituals. I mean, there's a lot of things that are on hold right now that people are losing out on, and that's the thing that makes it difficult, But to look at the game yesterday, you look at the game and you think, I watched it for the most part, first half, most of the second half a little bit. Stafford, obviously, he's so thwarted back there sometimes with the offensive line that he's just throwing that ball up there. My brother and I were talking about it. It's like, man, he's just throwing the ball up there and the guy's not open. He's hoping the guy's going to make the play for him, and he's not. So it's wonder if he's at the point now where he's just shell-shocked back there and he's just trying to save his butt,
Well, yeah, and and throw in there all the guys that were out yesterday, right? I mean, they were depleted, right? Offensively, they were depleted, right?
They're playing guys out there that probably haven't been out there or shouldn't be out there, or backups,
It just continues to just be a weird, this whatever these seasons we end up. I'm thankful that we're able to have a baseball season and finish the basketball and have a football season, but to me, it's just it's one big ass asterisk, right, to this to this whole thing, because there's so many from week to week now, these games are getting postponed or rescheduled, and this guy's on COVID protocol, that guy's on COVID protocol. You don't know from game to game what kind of team you're even going to be able to have out there, and huge impacts with depending on who it is and who's not there and who's there, and it's nice to see the games, but to me these whole seasons are just kind of they've got a big asterisk in them. You can't really tell a whole lot, put a lot into them, because there's so many other factors going into this.
Sam, ask you a question. When it comes to technology is a tick-tock effect, meaning that every other year of technology changes is a major shift and change. In the tick-tock effect, it's like we have a downtime, like we're switching teams inside the game, and then next year we have a better year. You know what I'm saying? Is there the same mindset for this for sports? Do you think there's a tick-tock right now where 2021 will be great for the Lions and or U of M or MSU?
Well, I don't know if it'll be great, but it'll be more stable. Hopefully more stable, right? Because the point is, you're counting on this guy being there, that guy being there, this guy being there. Okay, you can have injuries, but you're not having it to the effect. You never have injuries to the effect of things that you're seeing now with this whole COVID, right? Because any one given week, how many guys could be out just because of that, right? Mm-hmm. Whole football teams, games being canceled because of outbreaks or whatever, right? Nick Saban's not going to be on the sideline tomorrow coaching Alabama because he's testing positive.
Same with Bay, right?
Yeah, all these things. To me, it's just
he's out too.
He's
not traveling.
You might as well just take this season and pretend it didn't happen, because
Right.
Yeah, 2020 did not happen. I get
Didn't
it. Yeah.
As far as anything, yeah.
Just
As far as anything, the reality of it all.
we just skip a year.
No.
You get like here last night, Baltimore Ravens are supposed to play Steelers, right? At
Right.
8:30, right? The game is supposed to take place, but Baltimore Ravens are getting an influx of COVID, so they delayed that game to Sunday.
Yeah, now
Now, yesterday, Lamar, the quarterback from Ravens, he goes out with positive COVID. So now they're pushing that Sunday game back to Tuesday. So
Right.
they're trying to push it back, so that they can get a positive test out of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
right?
negative. Yeah.
I think that's what their hope is, that somehow these guys are going to keep getting tested. They're going to hopefully find a positive test, or maybe a false positive, and he's going to be able to play Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. So they're pushed that game that was supposed to be last night at 8 o'clock all the way to next Tuesday. So I think they're looking for hopefully a little window here that these guys are Baltimore somehow it's going to run its pass through, or they're going to find a test, because I think they test, and by rule of them, I think they only have to have like a 24-hour clearance, right? Maybe, I don't know.
No, yeah, the COVID test is now down to basically 20 minutes on a breathalyzer that they just announced today.
A breathalyzer?
Yeah, for COVID.
Wow. That's better than getting that thing stuck up your nose. That's
Sorry,
a good thing. But now they're talking about, even I heard through the news that they're going to have a vaccine possibly out by next week. So people will be able to have access to the vaccine shot by next week. So I don't know. It's all whoever wants to allow it or whatever, not, you know. But
I worked at Cedars-Sinai about 10 years ago, and the hospital is the first one to get the damn pills or injections.
yeah,
Is this week.
yeah, the first line of defense people.
Hollywood gets it first. Anyway, so
Mhm.
it's true. It's going to Cedars-Sinai this week.
So that
Yeah.
means like we're like so far down the list, it's not even.
No, between our colleges, we should be able to have this within a month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're pretty close. Santa's probably first out of all of us, though. He's going to get it first, because
I'm way down. I'm way down the list. Nobody cares about.
women first, right? And girls
Right.
and women. And then,
That's when you shove them off the boat. Anyways, no.
that's right. That's right.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, you watched the Lions yesterday, and they just couldn't quite get over the hump. I mean, they'd make a mistake, and then they'd get something, think he had something going on, and then the plays would break down. You know, they were playing without one of their running backs. They were playing without their starting wide receiver, like Sam said. A lot of key components to the team that, you know, are a major factor. You know, but you know, like I say, it's the Lions, and you think, oh, you know, I don't know. There's not that many more wins left. I thought yesterday they'd pull that thing out, but just because they always seem to step up on Thanksgiving Day and play.
So is Patricia gone? I mean, what are they going to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I know James had mentioned that he'd be gone like by today, you know, and he wouldn't make it through the day. Huh?
It's been quiet, right?
It has been quiet. And I know they put pictures up of the owner with her hand in her face, and they're disgusted. Yeah, who knows? That could have been any time. And they put the clip there saying that she's frustrated by the team, but she could have just been, you know, resting her eyes for a minute or something. I don't know.
Yeah, got a bad turkey leg or something.
Yeah, you know, yeah, she's just coughing up a.
Damn, burn the turkey.
Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have had that one extra bite. But you know, I mean,
She wouldn't even pay attention to the game. Oh,
you look at his record. Yeah.
Whose record? Sorry.
Stafford. No, the coach is Patricia. Right.
He's a lost cause. He has lost his soul. The company owned by the Fords, sell it. Get it done. Sell the brand of the Lions for $25 million and get on with it. Just retire the ownership. Move on to new owners. I'm tired of this. U of M, MSU, they all have better management.
Yeah.
Than the Lions do.
Well, I mean, even the other, you know, the Tigers
have a better successful season.
You know, well, you're right. The Tigers, the Red Wings, you know, they've good ownership, right? I mean,
yeah. You know, it'd be good. You know, it'd be good for that. And the Lions and the Fords, they should look into that. Dan Snyder.
Oh.
Dan Snyder. He's got the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland, but he doesn't have a football team.
Right.
Why not? He's put a lot of money into that. He's invested into the Detroit area. I mean, that seems like a common person that could potentially take it off the Ford's hands and potentially give it, or even if it's part ownership where he comes in there and he's half owner, and the Lions are a silent owner or something. I don't know, but somebody in there, huh?
I think all the fans that are spending tickets, they ought to just pool together and just do a forced buyout or something.
Yeah, it could be like the Green Bay Packers, right?
I'm silently clapping with you, Sam. Thank you. Somebody take this thing down. Ownership has been forever.
Is there?
And I'm not a sports guy. I don't watch any balls of sort. But I'm saying this has been the most disappointing team in my life. The Pistons won, the Red Wings won, the Lions.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
The Tigers won.
Tigers won. So I think
Michigan Panthers won.
I mean, it's a business, right? I mean, why can't we have like a hostile takeover of the Lions? I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
Just
we can leave the stadium named Ford Field. That's fine.
Yeah, you can leave it Ford Field, but we need a hostile takeover.
Yeah. Nobody's in the stadium. Just approach the building and run in.
We're taking over. I mean, you're out.
Come on.
That's all I'm saying is, please, before I have this final coital moment of death, and let me have a Lions team win a Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
It's not a lot to ask for.
They were so close that 1 year, and we've talked about that, in our stories.
Sorry, we have histories of stories. And now moving on from that.
So frustrating. So frustrating.
So tomorrow's game, U of M and MSU. Separate.
Michigan's hosting Penn State at 12 noon, and the Spartans host Northwestern at 3:30.
Okay.
And I mean that Penn State program.
Yeah. 0-5. I've never been 0-5 before. They got a lot of problems. Obviously, they're having some issues there, and Michigan's getting them at the right time. I think, no question about it. I think Michigan last week, pulled that thing out at Rutgers in overtime, double overtime.
So
found a quarterback potentially, maybe.
So Pat, it was funny. I haven't talked to you, but I had a dinner party that I was at, so I was not able to watch the game. Right, I didn't want to sit there and be antisocial and have the game on my phone underneath the table. But we're in this group chat, and my phone is just going crazy.
No way.
It's just like bzz, 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 bzz. I'm like all these texts from you guys going back.
That could have been us. It could have been us.
What the hell is going on? And it kept going. And I look at my watch. I'm like, it's midnight. Why am I still getting these? Why are these guys still going crazy? And it wasn't until I left there about after midnight, 12:30, and I look at ESPN. I'm like, holy crap!
Yeah.
Because I had no clue what was going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was tough to sit through. Number one. And I was sitting here with Bob watching it.
I'm sorry about that. Sorry to hear that.
Him and I were going back and forth. We had written them off. We're never going to watch them again. 17-0. They were terrible. It was like, Then all of a sudden, McNamara gets in there, touchdown. And next thing you know, we just take off from there. It was like 17-7. We missed the field goal right at the end of the first half. It was like,
I did watch the replay.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, I did watch because I wanted to.
That's good.
Sound like a crazy game. So I said, I got to sit down and watch the replay. They did. Thankfully, that I was able to watch the Big Ten and 60 version of it. Right, so they just kind of zip through it real quick, which is a good way to watch a game. But I'm really, really actually looking forward to sitting down and watching them live tomorrow because I haven't had a chance to do it since the Minnesota game with you. So I'm going to do it, and I think I'm looking forward to seeing McNamara, and I think I don't understand, and we all sit here and talk about it, but how could Milton have won that job? And
That was one of the big questions they asked: is how does
and not only that, but how could Haskins not have won the number one back job? Why have this rotation of guys, and he's clearly been the best guy out there.
Haskins,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
the running back.
Yeah, so I really hope tomorrow you see, Cade gets a start and Haskins is in the backfield and he gets a ton of carries like he deserves to get. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I just
experiments.
I keep going back to it being such a weird year where and I'm not making an excuse and I'm not using it as an excuse, but there was no spring ball, right? And then when they did start in August, they started for a while and then stopped. So how much of a competition was there really?
No.
Right? I mean, how much of a competition was there?
Yeah. The competition went maybe in August. That's when McCaffrey transfers. Right. And they say, "Oh, Milton's going to start," but then all of a sudden they don't start. So then they have to sit idle for a while, and they maybe got together, and then they just started with Milton because maybe Cade wasn't doing enough then, but now after you watch him and his preparation and stuff,
I don't know.
So a question for you guys. With all the starters, I'm going to call it stutter start. We never actually had a full season of anything for training, anything for pregame setup. Yeah. Nobody really practiced there, and under duress they were practicing. And now we're in a gameplay where there's no audience, there's no energy. It really was just playing the game because it is named football.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. That's my point earlier. Yeah.
It really does. It's a weird feeling out there.
It's PS4 or 5.
So it's just literally called the PS5 show. All right, so
I like that analogy, Sam. That is a good analogy.
Yeah, it is. Seriously, and I'm looking at this going, okay, so 2021, if we do a proper reboot and everything is healthy and otherwise, we can ignore this current season. I mean, what's the point of even scoring this shit?
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
There's no reason to actually record any games this year.
Not really. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
There was discussion. There was discussion that they were going to give everybody their year.
Right. And that's gone away. Right.
They aren't giving them this free year. They're not going to get a free year, another add-on year, maybe.
I haven't heard anything about that because there was talk about that with the basketball guys, right?
Yeah.
And that I never heard anything on that.
Speaking of,
it's like you and I were talking, I thought when Michigan played the other night, it was a continuation of last year because I'm like, where's Teskey at? Oh,
yeah, the basketball team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a shit show for me. Honestly, it is. And in so many ways, I don't realize how much sports I watched, although I am not a sports guy, that I was casual about it. Now I'm more passionate about it because I'm watching the entire industry of sports fail. It's worse than technology. Technology, at least you can flip over the next year. Sports is literally all physical, all human, and we're paused. It sucks.
But you even look at it too, like we discussed a little bit yesterday. You look at all the businesses right now that people are working remotely for, that people are paying rent in these high-rise buildings that aren't filled with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at these people that have stadiums that can house 80, 90, 100,000 people, and they're empty. Where, in the end, where does that, I mean, it's a hit. You're taking a loss this year. Will it come out on the opposite end next year in ticket prices? Will you tear down the high rises and build apartment complexes? I mean, when does that guy that owns that big high rise building that's 20, 30, 40, 50 floors tall that our businesses are supposed to be in, and no one's there because they're all working from home?
Let me flip you another coin on this one. Good statement. All the vendors, all of the hallway, all of those beer sales, food sales, companies that don't have a year of vending, and luckily it's Little Caesars or it's whoever, Nathan's Hot Dogs for a year. Yeah, they bite of it. You know what I'm saying? But it's a big numerical error for everyone. Like, so the Ford ownership of that building is just a nickel in the pond of a bigger problem. So I really think that if anything recovers, all the concerts that were canceled, everything outside of the sports ball,
Sure.
is gone. So it's not just the immediacy of every Sunday or every Saturday. It's the entirety of it all. I'm waiting to see who falls first. It's a bigger problem than just simply one bad season.
Mm-hmm.
If the Lions sucked for 10 years and no one showed up, that would be the actual TV show I watched this past week. So, you know what I'm saying? But it was literally a 60,000 person arena, no vendors, no beer sales, nothing.
Yeah.
PS5 mode. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know, Sam. What do you think? What do you think goes on with the business world, Art? You've been there. You've been that. Obviously the sporting world making do because a lot of times it's just an extra hobby for the owner. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
I own a team, and how much?
it is,
How
and
much?
the
Jerry
biggest
Jones. What percentage of Jerry Jones's net worth is into the Cowboys? Or whatever.
the biggest incentive has been for the professional sports teams to play these games, even though there's no fans or minimal fans, is TV money. That is the biggest.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
the only reason, right? That take for example Major League Baseball. Why did they create the World Series and the way they did it? Right, protected those games to make sure they were played. It was primarily so they could get their TV money. That's
Sure.
That's the only thing that these owners have and these leagues have that they can protect at this point is the TV money. Even college, same way, right?
Yeah.
They've got to play as many games as possible. They got to get them on the schedule. They got to get them played so they can get that TV money. That's what it's all about now because that's the only thing they've got. And the question is that going to be enough to sustain them? People were talking about, leagues like the MAC, right? I mean, nobody, since they put the MAC on Wednesday nights now or Thursday nights, whatever that is,
baby, action.
Nobody goes to those games anymore. Even last year,
Yeah.
those stands were quarter full, and the reason was because people would stay home and watch them on TV.
Yeah.
So when the MAC came back, so we got to get these TV games in, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way they're sustaining themselves.
Yeah, I was just watching.
Now they can't do that forever, and this may be a 1 year, hopefully 1 year blip where they can take that hit. But as long as they're getting their TV money, I think they're okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to say this: within 10 years, we'll have digital teams that actually you watch and play with. You're now, meaning that you have like the PS5 effect. You have teams that don't exist that will be on game only, that people actually play at home as teammates playing on a team.
Well, they're already doing that. Esports, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But I seriously see this as a new transition. If we're going to go this far into the future, I believe technology will kill sports.
Well, it's like when they did NASCAR over the summer. It started NASCAR virtual. So I mean, it was the guys were driving from home, and it was on TV. I mean, people were watching it. People loved it, because NASCAR is such a huge following.
Exactly.
But
now, if you two and I were to play on the Lions, I'd probably get kicked off the team right away. However, I'd play at least one quarter.
Right. Yeah.
But the point being is, you're right. It is becoming a new world order of sort for sports. Sadly, so is the esports effect may have a double down with this new world we live in with COVID. Proclamations of sort, like literally, this is going to become the new norm. Mm-hmm. I think it's true. Driving a car virtually, yeah, I've watched that. I've seen that. It's part of the new fact. Yeah. Sorry. Have fun with that tomorrow. No.
Yeah.
Playing the Michigan game or whatever.
Yeah. You're but that's obviously we veer off a little bit. But that definitely the impact of how long they can go on this and have empty stadiums, empty office buildings. Those are all things that are going to play out in early 2021. I would think, that they're going to have to make decisions on how they move forward. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the setup there for that. But obviously tomorrow Michigan's going to take the field and try to win another ball game against Penn State. Michigan State's going to try to ruin Northwestern's season there a little bit and win a home game there against Northwestern coming in first place. And Michigan's trying to build on their season a little bit, and Penn State's still looking for their first victory. So these kids, I mean, for them, it's a great opportunity for them, at the collegiate level, and players are going to get out there and do their best and play hard, and in front of minimal fans, parents, family members, maybe a little dally. But you watched last week. I watched Oklahoma against Oklahoma State last Saturday night. I think it was on, and that stadium had to be 75% full. It was jammed.
Was it?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Go back to the SEC, right? I mean, you go look at the games down south.
Yeah.
I'm going to go watch the Iron Bowl tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Alabama, Auburn. Yeah, it's a Tuscaloosa. They'll probably have upwards of 25, 30,000 people there.
Right.
30,000. And it has a different feel.
Sure.
Watching the SEC, like you said, watching the Oklahoma game, they have different feels when there's actually real people, not cardboard people.
Yeah.
Just cardboard
well, the Lions went to Carolina last weekend, right?
Right.
They had about 20,000 people there watching, right, in Carolina. But they come back here to Michigan because of the situation and the setup that we were forced under here. They got nobody in the crowd except for cardboard fans. And they said yesterday we were talking about if you're a cardboard guy who's in the end zone, gets kicked with the ball, and it hits your guy, you would get the ball signed or something, and you win money. Somebody was telling me about that. I don't know if that's a deal or not, but if you send your guy in there and he gets hit with the ball, you win money and you get a ball.
Speaking of cardboard guys, did you guys see the Bud Light commercial with the cardboard guy?
Oh yeah.
That's really funny.
That was a good one, wasn't it? Hit by the bus, and then he gets a windshield wipered off, and then goes up, and it's at his house, and he's sitting.
And in the end, he's got
the Bud Light taped to his
head. The cardboard Bud Light taped to his hand.
That was the longest commercial, but it kept my interest. We kept watching that sucker.
I mean, I can't stomach a Bud Light, but it was a good commercial.
Yeah, exactly. They're very creative. They are creative with some of these.
Fast on their feet. Fast on their feet.
It's funny how they've taken, and you see a lot more videos, more commercials, people with masks on, how they've transformed all the, during the games, they put commercials on with people with masks or
even now, if they don't have a mask on, they put the little subtitle. This commercial was filmed in a safe manner. If you go into the store, you should wear a mask. I'm like, come on.
Oh yeah, man.
I mean, they're like insulting our intelligence at some point.
I'm telling you, that was funny.
Sorry, that was the best 30 seconds I've ever heard.
What do you think about we got the basketball season kicked off too?
Oh man, Michigan.
I'm excited about that, to be honest, because I do. Juwan Howard, to me, and the things he was able to come in here and do last year, and what he's doing on the recruiting trail, and just how he presents himself, and so many positives about what he's going to do. I think at Michigan, and I'm just thankful that they're able to piece together some kind of schedule. To see him come out and play pretty well the other night was fun to watch.
Yeah, I've watched a few of the games here already this week, and they did a great tribute to John Thompson.
Yeah, they all had the towel over their shoulder. That was cool.
Put the towel over their shoulders to tribute John Thompson the other day.
That was
John
awesome.
Thompson was a coach at Georgetown, 6'11", huge guy, led him to the national title back with Patrick Ewing and all them in the 80s, stuff like that, coached for years, and he passed away.
Towel over his shoulder.
He had a towel over his shoulder.
That's right. Remember that. I do remember that.
So the coaches did a nice tribute to him the other day. It was nice to see.
I had a towel behind me, and I went for a run. Now it's out there. I was going to put it over my shoulder.
Oh, we could have done it. We could have done it. I'm going to have it tell you next time. But it was good to see how they spaced out the benches for the basketball games.
Yeah, but I was going to ask you about that. Right? So
they set up just like NBA.
But I was going to ask you about that, right? I mean, So these guys they live together. They practice together every day of the week.
In the locker room.
They probably eat together, and then to sit there for a game, they got to six feet apart.
With the mask on. Like Michigan had their own Gatorade coolers under each chair. So it's each guy's specific chair with their specific cooler with their water inside that.
Well, yeah, we had to do that. We had to do that for football, right? So each kid had their own Gatorade bottle with their number on it. So during a timeout, when we took water to them, they had to only drink out of their numbered bottle, the bottle with their number.
Yeah.
Not laughing, but that's just funny. Yeah.
Now
you're talking about setting each other apart by 6 feet, right? Literally down the entire.
But they spend they spend probably, 2-3 hours of practice together.
For hours. They practice. I mean, this is like me going to Capitol Grill and getting a wine and a soup. It's, take the mask off to eat my soup. Yeah. Now you're playing sports where you're actually sweating with each other, touching the ball that everyone touches.
I think I have the perfect analogy here. They set that far apart, but then you call timeout, and they all come together. In the huddle, and they're all standing there talking to each other in the huddle. Not 6 feet apart, but they're huddled. So you wonder, the double standards, obviously, that everyone's come across.
They probably need to have, what they probably need to have a Zoom timeout.
Zoom timeout.
Yeah, they'll be all sitting there. They'll be all sitting there 6 feet apart on their phones.
They pull out their Surface.
Wait a minute, you're on mute. I can't hear. Wait a minute, I can't.
They said they were going to do a minute. They couldn't do the 30-second timeout, right? That's for the high school. They were going away with the 30-second timeout, and it was all minutes. You had a minute. All get a minute. They had time to get everybody all together.
The Xbox effect. The Xbox effect is it's literally going to come down to pause the game while you pee, and then come back, and then
I need a beer. Hang on.
Yeah, exactly. Time back in. Well, you look at the things like that. I mean, obviously the scorers table is all plasticed up, and the referees all have their whistle, and then they come over and they got to pull the thing up, and it's just a lot of those kind of things that are. It's good to see. It's good politically to see that they're not sitting right next to each other on the bleacher.
That's the
but
key.
They are spaced out, I guess.
That's the key. It looks good politically.
You said spaced out. I agree.
Well, now they've even, like at the NFL, they just mandated for this starting yesterday that anytime the player comes off the field, they have to put their mask on. So anytime on the sideline, when that player comes off and he stands on the sideline, they mandate now that they have to have that mask on. So yesterday, you saw all the guys with the mask on. So it's one of those kind of deals. So it's how far do you take it? We've obviously here in Michigan, we've taken it pretty far. And
we did our best. We did our best.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously excited about Michigan, what they look like, some of the new players they got for basketball.
Yeah.
It's a lot of potential there. But you're hopeful that, like some of the coaches said, they hope they don't play till January, so hopefully they do get the season through, and we've got a lot of basketball games going on right now, and we'll see after this first weekend here. Hopefully people don't have to postpone games or move schedules around, but it looks like on the Michigan schedule, they've spaced it out pretty well. Like they play a Tuesday and a Sunday. So you do have some window time frame on their schedule, it looked like.
Right.
Most of the games are spaced out that way, but
a lot of pieces, a lot of talent, a lot of things they can
they've got a lot of
positives. I was very happy to.
A couple of the freshmen that came in there, transfers that played, along with the guys that were there last year. It's got a good nucleus. The potential is there for them to get better.
And then a great class coming in next year, right?
Oh yeah, top one in the country.
A lot of positive things coming out of Juwan Howard.
Yeah, Juwan's doing some good things there. But Michigan State, obviously, a lot of talent coming back on their team. They got a lot of guys there. They rotate them in and out the other day. And Izzo just came back from having COVID, so he just got back in there. But they were.
It'll be interesting to see. I think hopefully they can keep somewhat of a semblance of a conference schedule, and actually make a meaningful season. Out of it, because I think the Big Ten is pretty well loaded this year for.
Iowa, Illinois. A lot of those teams are And Michigan's ranked, in the preseason was ranked 5 or 6.
Mhm.
Michigan State's 4.
Yeah.
Ohio
4.
State and Rutgers are even up there too. So, but yeah, I mean, they're even talking about playing the March Madness all in
Right. One venue.
Or in Indianapolis only. So they may have to use a few different arenas, but keep it housed in one area. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And obviously they came out with the first football rankings this past week, and obviously Alabama and Ohio State, and Notre Dame, and Clemson all at the top 4 slots there. So.
I watched just before we started here. I watched the end of it, or I watched most of it. I decided today I'm going to sit down and watch football. So I watched the Iowa Nebraska game, and then I watched the Notre Dame North Carolina game. But
yeah, Notre Dame's not bad. They play well. They pulled that out today. But I don't know what you got. I know the high school guys were rolling along there, Sam, and then they put the stop on that here at the state.
Yeah, we're on a pause. Right?
Any news on that? Nothing more.
No, I don't know what's going to happen. Right? We're all just, you can't do anything with the players except via Zoom calls. You can't work out. You can't do anything organized coaches wise. So.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because there's only 64 teams left in the entire state playing football, and it broke my heart last Saturday. Right, it was a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and we should have been playing regional final games. And
that was last Saturday. Yeah.
Let me ask a question because again, I didn't play sports. If the coaches had the ability to tell their team how to work their week, like coaching them through the week, minus gameplay, they do that. Can these teams exist outside of actual gameplay?
Yeah, so we, for example, we're meeting with the kids probably 2 to 3 days a week on a Zoom call. We can the technology, talk about technology. I mean, we have the ability to watch film with them on, all together watching film. We can game, we can start the game plan, but we put together, workouts for them, both non-football workouts that they can do on their own just to try to stay in shape. And then we have put together, a list of, what we want them to be doing football wise, if they can, right? We can't force them to get together with 2 or 3 guys and throw routes or work on things, but we can give them drills and we can give them things to do. And if they want to get together on their own, they get together on their own and do stuff. But
so unsanctioned gameplay is available. Yeah.
It is what it is, and you don't know if 100% of the kids are actually doing it or not. You hope that at this point, again, you're down to teams playing for regional championships once this thing starts back up. So you hope that they've got incentive to at least keep working at it and keep staying sharp. But if the timeline plays out like it may, and I don't know if it will, if we are allowed to go back to starting real practice starting on December 9th, they want us to play a game on the 15th and 16th, which, that's pretty tough. And these kids have been sitting around for 3 weeks, right? I mean, doing something hopefully, but, not hitting because you can't, they're not going to hit. So I don't know if that's enough time, but that's the schedule that the MHSA is.
Said the 15th would be the regional final, the 22nd would be the.
So you're talking about playing these games on, midweek, right? A Tuesday, Wednesday. Regional final, then the following week, the 21st, 22nd, something like that, 22nd, 23rd, Tuesday, Wednesday playing the semis, and then the following 28th, 29th playing the state final. Weird. I don't know if it'll happen, right? Because it's all going to be contingent upon what happens on December 9th. But.
Wasn't the high school finals at the Lions Stadium?
Yeah, it's at Ford Field, and it's still going to be at Ford Field.
Yeah, they're going to play all 8 games there, all 8 state finals.
Like New Year's Eve day or whatever, right?
28th, 29th are the 2 games they've scheduled. Yeah.
So
assuming that we could start back up on the 9th, which is a big assumption.
Yeah, that's amazing that we're going to watch this whole state fall down to our situation where even the high school teams can't play proper.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we were doing a good job. I think that there wasn't any evidence of mass outbreaks because of high school sports, right? And so it's frustrating being involved in the high school.
Yeah.
world as I am, it's frustrating because, we were doing our best. And I personally think that the kids are safer with us than they are now because we can't control where they're at, right? I know they're not going to restaurants, but they could be out hanging out together. They could be hanging out with whoever they want if their families allowed it, where if we were practicing and playing right now, they wouldn't have that time on their hands. They would be practicing with us. And,
yeah, it's
so
a double.
I think it's, that's just my opinion, but what do I know?
I'm sorry, I'll shut up now, but it's a frustration on my level to know that people I have in my life can't enjoy their sports activities because it's all been locked down.
Yeah. Well, the kids, they lost it in March. They had to get shut down.
Same
and here they are now. They're playing now, and they're almost there. I mean, the volleyball was a week away. Football was 3 weeks away. Swimming and diving, all that were down to the last week. And then all of a sudden, you put the kibosh.
I watched a hockey game in St. Clair Shores last week, and it was with the 15-year-olds or thereabouts. A great game, and they had literally separate sides of the stadium, separate ice areas, and it was like they still played. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why can't we have this across the board? I'm sorry.
That's the thing. It's mandated against the high schools. It's not mandated against the travel teams. So the travel teams can still play.
There you go.
Situation like that, or maybe a travel basketball.
Yeah, see that.
So it's been in that situation where it's, you're getting nailed, but then these kids are still probably going to play on their travel team or travel side.
But so they'll hang out and watch movies all night and do whatever they do.
Right.
Yeah. But you can't get together on a sanctioned moment. Thank you.
And you've already been playing since when did you start, Sam? September, yeah. You started in September and playing all along. And it's like, just get by one couple more weeks. But I think it was driven that they didn't want anybody to be together at Thanksgiving.
I'm just saying.
It could be that they didn't want that Thanksgiving gathering to be imploded where it could go bad. And obviously, there's all situations, but in that factor, they take it down the week before Thanksgiving and they nail you the week after Thanksgiving. So it's just a bad thing. But
have fun with that, guys. So I'll let you talk about your.
Hopefully, like I said, I'm hoping that they come back and start on the 9th and then can finish this up and these boys can see it through. I mean, some teams, during playoffs, they were losing they had to forfeit a game right before district title.
Yeah, there were some forfeits.
You're sitting down and you're like, oh my gosh, that team didn't even play. So their season ended because of the COVID, and that kind of stuff. So, obviously, you'd like to see them play through, and it's affecting the winter sports too. I mean, it's going to push them back, and the winter sports for high school are going to be affected by all this too. So, we're hoping like see a MI Sports Talk. Here we are talking about a lot of different things going on, and it seems to be the common thread for us is it always seems to revolve around the COVID right now, but at least there is stuff on TV for us to watch, and there's stuff to discuss, and it keeps our minds, somewhat going instead of just sitting here watching Netflix or movies or things like that, or just staring out the window. And especially now when the weather's it might get 3-4 inches tomorrow or next day. Monday they're talking 3 inches of snow. So,
like I said, I'm going to take tomorrow. Like I took today, I'm going to take tomorrow, and I'm going to watch some football. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything.
Heck yeah, man! Tomorrow, there's some good games on tomorrow.
Hopefully, I won't lose what's left of my Thanksgiving dinner from after watching the Lions tomorrow. But I should be all right. I still have leftovers, so I am still.
I have leftovers. I got a little bit of leftovers too, yeah. But hopefully, Michigan can pull out a W. Michigan State can get a W tomorrow, and Lions obviously in the next. I think the quarterback. I think the coach Patricia is going to be there till the end of the year. I think they're not going to make a move, and I think they'll reevaluate again at the end of the season, and
I think you're right.
But I think he won't be. I don't think he'll be brought back. I'm going to go out on a limb right now and probably say that they will move on in another direction, just because that is the way the Lions operate.
Hang on. It's sad when the team actually is defending him. It's not him, it's us. I'm like, this is seriously sad. That's how bad it is.
I got one more question for you. NFL. Who goes? Who has a better chance of doing this? The Steelers going 16-0, or the Jets go 0-16?
Me
I
first.
asked that the other night on one of the talk shows, and I said that's a good little question to have. So the Jets right now haven't won a game, and the Steelers haven't lost a game. Are the
Well, they're not
Jets
gonna
more
have
likely
16
to go
games to play.
winless? Huh?
They're not going to have 16 to play, right?
That might be a chance too if the Steelers. Yeah, I mean they said it could be close. I think they have 16. That
Are they going to try to get there?
I guess the question would be: are the Steelers going to go undefeated, or are the Jets going to go winless?
I know my answer.
Go ahead, James. What do you got, James?
I would say both teams will either win or lose one just to make it not 16 equal.
Yeah.
So it'd be like they'll have an eventual someone loses, someone wins one time, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because that's how the averages go. You can't do 16-0.
But if we're going strictly on the odds of one or the other happening, my odds would be I'd go with the Jets losing 16.
That's what I'm going to. I'm going. The odds are
better that the Jets would lose. 16. I agree with you that something's going to happen. Either one is tough, right? Because they may win a game by chance, and chances of the Steelers losing a game there is pretty high. It's going to probably happen. But I think the odds would be in the favor of the Jets.
Yeah.
Going undefeated.
The last team to start 10-0 since 2000. The last team to start 10-0 since 2000 that made it to the Super Bowl. There's only been one team, and they lost the Super Bowl.
The Patriots.
No.
Indianapolis Colts. Peyton Manning lost to the Chicago Bears. They were 10-0. Then they lost a couple games. I think they finished 14-2, and then they went to the playoffs or something, and then they end up losing in a rainy battle down at Tampa Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that one on the trivia the other night too, and it was a good question.
Very good.
So, thanks guys for taking part of your holiday to talk MI Sports Talk here. We got I've been posting online. I got our top 10 college teams. Alabama is the number one team in my ranking there. I posted online.
Roll Tide.
Did you see it? Yeah, Roll Tide. Alabama. The top four are Bama, obviously, and Notre Dame and Ohio State, Clemson. I do like BYU, and then I do have the top 8 power ranking for the NFL, and then I have it on there as the Steelers and the Chiefs are up near the top on our power ranking. So check those out too while you get a chance. And they'll change again next week. We'll probably readjust them again next week after they get through this weekend. But again, thanks again, guys. Good show today.
This has been fun. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I may invade this more often than not because this is so much. Yeah, it's really, I'm learning.
You are. You are definitely. People can sit and listen to Sam and I, but we got Jerry in there, and we get Mike back.
And I have got like 10,000 followers, so I may have to add them to my equation.
There you go. Yeah, they'll love the show.
Maybe pretty soon we can have our little Xbox game going or PS.
No, I would say a PS5.
Yes, I can't get one.
I got the PS4 here over my shoulder.
I have 4 PS4s here. Thank you.
You have 4? Oh.
Boys both moved out, so I don't have a PS4 here.
That's right. But you can watch it every week on our cardboard.
Yeah.
Oregon and Oregon State are playing right now. That's a nice football game, and it's a basketball game. So, again, thanks again, fellas. We'll talk again maybe next week.
All right,
go over Michigan and Michigan State and our dreaded Lions.
Our beloved Lions.
Beloved Lions. Keep an eye on that coaching search, maybe, potentially. Thanks again, fellas.
Polish up that resume, Pat.
There you go. You and Mike. What's that, James? Any last things? Any last words?
Yeah. Lions, new owners, anytime.
Hostile takeover.
Hostile takeover.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I agree. All right.
Dan Snyder, come help us out. There you go. Right. All right, fellas.
You guys.
MI Sports Talk.